Okay, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Wendy Phua, and I'm here today to do a very short but hopefully interesting workshop on bass tapping. Okay, some of you may not know what bass tapping is. It's a pretty uncommon technique on the bass. It's played a bit like a keyboard, and I'm going to use both left and right hand to do this thing that's called a two-handed tapping. But before I actually start the entire workshop, I'm going to play a couple of songs. I'm going to start off with my own song, which I wrote a couple of years back. This is called Stormy Weather, and it features a little bit of a two-handed tapping. Thank you very much. That was an original song I wrote on bass tapping, and the song was called Stormy Weather. Thank you for coming down today to Yamaha. For some of you who've just arrived, I'm doing a little short workshop on bass tapping, and just like to share with you a little bit about what is bass tapping. As I mentioned earlier, it's a little bit like playing on a keyboard, right? So you have your left hand and your right hand involved. Most of the time when we play the bass, we're just going like... Sorry, let me just off this effect. Right, so as I was mentioning, two-handed bass tapping is a little bit like playing with the left hand on a walking bass line. And on the right hand, I would actually like play out the melody or the voicings. Right? And some of my earliest inspirations for bass tapping, some of you may have heard of Victor Wooten. Yeah, he's an amazing bass player. He plays with a 4-string bass, but the kinds of stuff that he does on the bass, it just outweighs a 14-piece band sometimes. Another great tapper is Michael Manring. He is a bit of a scientist on the bass as well. He uses this hyper bass which has like alternate tuning and stuff, and that allows him to play notes that are more than what is on the strings you see on the bass, because with the alternate tuning, you can actually reach out into a whole range of harmonic possibilities on the bass. Another rock tap bassist, his name is Stu Ham. He was an inspiration for a while, but my very first inspiration is Michael Manring. He's just amazing. Some of you may have heard of Evan Brewer. He's also another great bassist. He's known for this kind of tapping like... right, it's actually like going across a scale on the bass. I'll talk a little bit more about that kind of thing. Another last bassist I want to bring up, his name is John Bodine. He's an amazing bass player. He's known for his rendition of Super Mario, the theme song of Super Mario, the Nintendo game. He plays like 11-string basses, 14-string basses. I have no idea how he actually does that. I think it's a bit of an OCD involved to, have that sort of discipline. So, from inspirations on the bass playing, here's a little bit more about how we can actually use single-string tapping on the bass. I'm going to use a major scale, a C major scale. Okay, and I'm going to be playing this on the first string of the bass, the G string, is starting on a C, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. All right, so very simple, just a single string major scale on a single string. And I'm going to hold the C note with my left hand, okay? And I'm just going to tap out the C major scale, which will sound a little bit like this. All right, simple enough. Now I'm going to bring in my left hand, and I'm going to do like 3-note groupings. This is known as a triplet. Okay, some of us do that way, triplet, triplet. That's how we know our groupings of 3. So it'll sound like this. Okay, it's a bit of a borrowed technique from a guitarist. I'm a sort of a closet guitarist, don't tell anyone. Okay, so what I just did, I actually played the major scale, and then I went back to the previous note. Alright, and that is your major scale on a single string. Because this workshop is only going to last for a while, I wholly welcome anyone to reach out to me after this, and feel free to ask me anything. I'm more than happy to share whatever I'm going through right now, because there's not much time here. So from the single string tapping, right, we can go on to playing cross string tapping. Alright, so some of the terms here are a little technical. Just don't mind me. Just have a listen to what I have to share for now. Cross string tapping means I will tap on more than one string, obviously. So here's an example. I'm actually going to hold down a chord, an F dominant chord, which sounds like this. Okay, and with my right hand, I will tap out the notes on the chord. So it'll sound like this. I can add in sliding techniques. I can actually do like a 2-chord progression. Alright, so a very simple thing on how you can actually do cross-string tapping. Another one that's really, really cool that I'd like to share with you is again playing the chords, okay, but this time I'm actually reaching down towards the lower part of the neck, and I'm going to tap out a G major chord, alright, and it's going to sound like this. Okay, before I go further, I just like to say, this little thing you see here, this is a scrunchie, okay, I fashioned it to help me mute my bass strings when I'm doing my tapping. Some guitarists are known to use their socks and tie around the bass neck. So yeah, socks can be quite useful for more than one ways. I got this from Daiso. And I just tie it around. But for some of you who would like to try out like a more, a proper way to mute your strings, you can get this thing called the Groove Gear Fret Wraps. Some players I know have already imported that in, and they're quite happy with that. So if you want to get a branded scrunchie, get a fret wrap. All right. So coming back to this thing, which I was just talking about, the G major tapping. Right. I'm going to bring this here, so it just helps me mute the strings, and I won't resonate throughout the whole room. So what am I doing? I'm playing my root of my G, the 5th, and the octave, and this is the major 3rd. Okay, so I can also go into my minor 7, which is let's just do an A minor 7, the root, the 5th, the octave, and root, 5th, octave, and the flat 3rd. Okay, so for practice, I'll just do this. And what I just did, I just basically played the chord structures within a G major scale. This is getting a little technical, so I'm not going to go too much into the details of this, but you can ask me about this after that, how to actually practice that. But yeah, so basically, I've just shown you 2 examples of how you can do cross-string tapping on the bass. All right, and I'm just going to talk a little bit about one more technique before I play another song. Okay, this is a technique of playing arpeggios on the bass again. So earlier on, I was playing a tap of my root, my 5th, octave, and the major 3rd. I'm going to show you another example where I'm going to play the root and the 5th with the left hand. And then I'm going to play the flat 7 on my right hand, which is the F, and the minor 3rd, the flat 3rd on my right. So it'll sound like this. And I can do an arpeggio. So as you can see, right, what I'm showing you right now is not very groundbreaking. It's not, it's not anything no one can do. It's really all about having the patience to sit down and to practice it. And, you can't not get good at this doing that. There's no way. I mean, you put 10,000 hours at something, if you're not good enough at it, I don't know what to say. Right, so that's just all about hard work. Yeah, sitting down and just getting through it. So you can do this too. Just to a metronome, bring up the speed. And from there, right, I can actually also do double stops. Double stops are playing 2 notes at the same time. So I can do things like, right? So I just basically play chord progressions using my left hand. I move down the scale and I play different bass lines. On the right hand, I was doing voicings. If you notice, I actually played the same notes with my right hand. Right, my left hand moved, but my right hand didn't. So yeah, various ways that you can play tapping with interesting harmonic possibilities. So enough talk, right? I will now play another song that I wrote. This was inspired by Victor Wooten's Classical Thump. Um, I wouldn't say it matches up to his because that song is just amazing. I love that song. But this was written thanks to also a bit of a classical background I had. I started out on the piano, classical piano. I learned that for a couple of years before moving on to the bass. So that part of me kind of stayed on, and it's influenced me in some of the songwriting I've done. So give me a minute here while I make some changes to my tuning. Thank you. That was classical Sojourn. Um, a song inspired by Victor Wooten's Classical Thump. If you enjoyed that, please do check out his song. Classical Thump is really an amazing piece, very inspirational. So what I just did, I actually tuned down my A string to a G, all right? So what I played on just earlier on, I was actually having tuning of E, G, D, and G again. So it's basically, making it a little easier for me to play the tapping. Obviously, I don't have like a Tchaikovsky kind of, huge hands to play on. To begin with, I'm not very, big size. So I have to deal with things like alternate tuning to help me tap out what's in my head onto the bass. Give me a minute, I'm going to tune back to the normal tuning. All right. I'm going to talk a little bit right now about slap and tap. Okay, this is an interesting technique where you're going to incorporate slapping techniques like, all right, into the bass playing and combine that with tapping. So if I were to tap on, an E dominant chord, basically this is how it sounds, right? And I have my root, my third, and my flat 7. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use my right hand, and I'm going to tap out the third, okay? The major third and the flat 7 on my right hand. I'm going to alternate that double stop tapping along with playing the fourth and the flat 7. So, okay, and I'm going to do like a simple, right? So this is actually slapping on the E, and this is how it's going to sound. It's incorporating slapping, hammer-ons, and tapping. So if you play a little faster, it's going to sound like. All right. Another way you can also do a bit of slap and tap. This is the second pattern you could use. And it goes like this. So as you can see, right, I'm playing my double stops. So I'm playing my double stops and the flat 7 of the E dominant. Right? I'm sorry, it's not really easy to explain something so technical in front of a larger audience. But again, please come by and ask me whatever you want after this. Yeah. So a third pattern that you can use, right? This is how it's gonna sound. Sorry, give me a minute. I'm alternating between my E and my A. Yeah. So basically, like with this slap and tap techniques, you can always incorporate that into any of the slapping patterns that you're playing. The harmonic possibilities are really endless. It's just about knowing, like, are you going to play a dominant chord, a major chord? It's always about tapping the chord tones with the right hand and tapping the bass lines on the left hand. So chord tones are your arpeggios, right? Your root, third, fifth, and your sevenths. So from there, you can even go further. Think about your nines, sharp 11s, 13s. Yeah. Google about this. There's a lot of information online. If you're interested to learn more about tapping, loads of YouTube videos. Okay. I've got some up myself. I intend to be putting out more after today. Hopefully, there's time for that. And yeah, just feel free to, if you Google up, you see me, just drop me a message and just say hi. I'd be more than willing to share whatever, I put up on YouTube. I'm gonna end off this workshop right now with a last song, and this is this is one of my favorite actually. Um, this was inspired by world music. Yeah, I don't really look like the sort, but I really love world music. I love arrangements on that. I admire people who can do arrangements for world music because it's really not easy knowing where all the percussions are going to be, and all the Latin rhythms and stuff. So I did this piece, and I hope you enjoyed this. This is a different tuning again. Give me a minute. Okay. Thank you. And that marks the end of my workshop on bass tapping. If you like the songs and you like what you've heard, do log on to my website, wendyphua.com, Phua, Phua, and drop me an email or message. I'll be happy to say hi as well. Thank you.